Here we are in the sunny Finca Hotel here in Marbella, and we're just about to set off on the Pan-European trial. And there is our chariot. It's got to be about the best kind of setting for this kind of vehicle you could find, really. The BMW 435i Convertible M Sport. £35,000 base. This particular model has another £10,000 worth of optional extras added to it. 3 litre engine, 6-cylinder, 306 horsepower, 155 miles an hour top speed limited, and a 0 to 62 of around 5 seconds, 5.6 or so. The hard top is beautifully constructed, as you can see, a metal hard top with a glass back. And the car itself is actually a masterpiece of engineering. And as it's going to be our home for a few days as we travel around Europe, we're going to test out all the bits and pieces and see exactly how good it is. But I think you can agree that from the first looks, it's a pretty stunning piece of design all round. The car features a very snug coupe cockpit that you'd expect from this kind of a car, the premium coupe as they probably call it. And it has, of course, the now familiar iDrive system from BMW, and they've incorporated the large screen for satellite navigation and full control of systems. And boy, what a system it is. We'll go through it later on as we get through the road trip, maybe, or even earlier, we'll see. Apart from that, a very traditional BMW interior, as those of you who are familiar with BMWs will recognize. As you'd expect with a coupe, the rear passenger room is fairly, not tight, but it's constrained. But there again, that's the whole point of a coupe, is it's supposed to be a sporty kind of product. So, but it's comfortable enough to hold certainly 2 in the back and somebody for very short journeys in the middle if you have to. They said they've increased the legroom on this new model, so that's an improvement. In the rear, you'll find this interesting, it's really a safety unit as well as anything else. It's designed to make sure that you can't lower the roof if you have too much baggage in the back, too much luggage, in case it breaks it. The roof actually lands in these 2 end areas here on either side of the vehicle, and those have to be kept clear, but also there can't be too much here. So if your luggage exceeds this point, then it won't load. So this is a guide, and the roof actually won't come down until you have this in place, and you get nice warnings. We'll do the roof drop in a second. But it's actually, with the roof up, it has a decent amount of space in the back. Certainly as much as you'll see in any vehicle of this type, I think. So let's pull the hood down and see how that looks. To start the car, it's foot on the clutch and press the start, and you'll feel it go, and I can turn it off and just save fuel and do the roof by just clicking on the button down here. This is the roof raise and lower. These are 2 heat or air conditioning vents which come out through the neck, so that when the hood's down you can stay very cozy. I believe that's going to be quite a popular little function in this car over the next few days. iDrive, as we said, 6-speed, some controls for the mode of driving, Sport down to Econo Pro or Eco Pro, which remaps the throttle and suspension, so to give you a more economical drive, and gives you a little gauge to tell you how well you're doing or how badly you're doing. I believe there's even an app and a game which you can play to ensure that you're driving at the best or the optimal if you're in Eco Pro mode. Sport mode, you'd expect, firms everything up, makes the throttle more responsive, and gives you more get up and go out of the 6. Dual zone air climate control in here, and air conditioning, and the multimedia and satellite navigation and full communication system. This has got connected drive included in it with the media pack, which is probably essential if you're going to have this kind of a car, because it's pretty useful, as we'll see later on. Right, let's pull the roof down. So it's just a matter of pulling that up. You'll notice the windows go down here, and there she goes. They claim 20 seconds for a full retraction, and you can do it at that speeds it up to 8 miles an hour, they say. Windows come back up, and you're set. You are now sitting in the full convertible. Let's have a look. And there it is in all its glory. Neatly stowed away. You wouldn't even think there was anything other than the old-fashioned standard canvas hood under there, but there is a full metal and glass hood. Very, very impressive. Of course, there is a penalty, and we're just about to see what it is, which is that your boot space disappears quite considerably. Again, though, if you've got any luggage or cases or anything or that are fitting under that panel, then you're fine. You know, the hood will slot in around it, so you do lose height, but you can still tell how much space you've got in there. If I pull this back, you can see there's no through port. This is actually the wind brake, which unfolds and sits over the back of the back seats here to make it nice and cozy. But the penalty of the luggage space is to my mind something that those who really want a coupe convertible will gladly pay, because this is very, very close to a full saloon sedan type configuration, even with all the constraints from the luggage and the rear seats. Interestingly enough, if you need to get any luggage out when you're in this top-down configuration, just press this button, and as you'll see, the whole rear lifts to give you access, which is amazing engineering. There you go, and there you've got your full access to the space. And look at this, this incredible bit of German ingenuity at either end doing this. To get the hood back into place so you can close the lid, just press the button, and again everything slots into place like a beautiful piece of Meccano. Marvelous. And you're done. Hey, how about that for cleverness? So for a view under the hood, a couple of tweaks of the bonnet cap, and here we go. Twin power turbo, and nestled under that very large top cap is the 3-litre 6-cylinder, or 2966 I believe it is. As you can see, there's not a lot of room to play with in there. And I guess with a convertible you have to make it that much stiffer and that much more rigid to ensure that the ride is as good as it can be. Okay, so that's it. Time now for us to grab our bags and set off on our multi-country adventure. Let's hope the weather stays as good as this. Just before we set off, let's just run through a little bit of what this car has to offer in terms of the options in the basic pack. I don't know if you can see it there, but it has a heads-up display sitting in front of my vision. There you go, just giving you the speed and other information like navigation at particular points. It comes also with reversing assist camera, which is an optional extra. The air collar, as I explained before, for the heating and the air conditioning when the top's down. Park distance control. It features a rain sensor, adaptive xenon headlights, run flat tires, automatic dimming mirror and door mirrors, both. Harman Kardon full surround speaker system, which is quite cool. Auto start stop. And brake energy regeneration, which helps to extend your range if you drive carefully. Again, another interesting development in terms of trying to help the driver get the best out of their fuel economy, even in a performance car like this. So that's the basics. Everything is configurable via the iDrive menu, so you can literally go in and change settings on just about every aspect of the car. So you can change what the head-up display shows, for instance, and the brightness and things like that. You can give other settings for warnings at particular speeds, at the ones that you want. You can set the lights to one touch triple turn signal for, you know, overtaking easily and stuff. You can also configure the Sport and the Eco Pro modes. Basically, for the Sport, this means changing whether you want drivetrain and chassis to be affected by the Sport setting, or just the drivetrain or just the chassis. This is basically just trying to make sure that it remains stable under all conditions, and the doors and the keys. Basically, everything is done through this very clever combination of a turn wheel and the display. One of the really nice features I like about this is that this turn wheel actually doubles up as a touchpad, which the BMW folk tell me is really great for countries which like China, where they prefer to do their symbols rather than anything else, and they find it difficult to turn this, or they just prefer having a touchpad. So you can actually draw in S, T, U or whatever. Clearly on the left hand side, if you're right-handed, it's a little trickier to say draw an 8 when you're not used to doing it with the left hand, but I can imagine for right-handed people in left-hand drive cars it's perfect. Are you listening, Americans? There you go. So just about to set off now. I'll go and get my gear. As you can probably see, I've got a fairly large, well, a decent sized suitcase sitting inside there, and if I drop this additional rucksack in, you'll see that I'm still good to go with the hood coming down. So the roof coming down. So let me just pop that back again. Oh, I love this electronics, isn't it cool? All latched in, everything's safe and snug under there, and I'm good to go. Okay, well, we're off. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to try and head up past Valencia to Barcelona. Bye-bye Hotel Cortesin. See you some other time. Oh, this head, I like this heads up already. It means I keep an eye firmly on the windscreen. It gives me instructions on which way to go. Pretty cool.